Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. These are really nice people. We are really excited. We got 5 pieces. We're already a little behind, so we're going to get moving right away. This is Mr. Rich Dole.
Just Rich is fine.
Rich?
Yeah.
And he is here to spend some time with us today, and time as our conductor slash director people. So he's going to take it away. And
All right. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. This is such a great thing you all are doing, especially on secondary instruments, a lot of you, right? That's going to be very exciting. And so I think, jazz is an important music, right? It's a serious music, and it's an art music. An American art music is African American art music. And we have to appreciate that. Every time I play this music, I feel I feel prideful for being able to do that and be allowed to do that. So I think I brought some handouts for you because what else am I going to do in my spare 4 minutes in a day? But I'm going to make some things. I have some stuff out here. I know you all know your scales, okay? I'm not going to insult you by thinking you need a scale sheet, but you need a scale sheet from me. Here's bass clef stuff. I don't know, you can just here's a whole bunch of treble clef stuff. And then maybe split this up. Anybody and everybody can grab one of these. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I thought maybe I was either going to go into a deep historical rant on jazz, or maybe we could talk about how we interpret jazz phrasing, styles, articulations that might be different from your classical setup and everything else that you learned your whole life, right? So I'm going to pull out my horn. It's super cold and all that. So I apologize. But I thought maybe we could play some scales and I could demonstrate how, in the jazz world, how we play our scales and what we think about when we're playing our scales and how we alter them. So why don't everybody could have out a scale sheet and then Lord, this is cool. And then the other sheet has like a checklist of different scales and the key cycle and some scale patterns and stuff. And on the flip side are jazz artists, right? Jazz is an oral music we learn by listening. So there are a lot of really great players out there, and here's a good place to start by listening. All this stuff. So, okay. Oh my God! All right. I know some of you are quite adept jazz players. Mike's in JB3. Yeah, come on, man. It's like the best band on campus, right?
Yeah, number one in our hearts.
Number one in the heart, JB3. Oh, Marcus is too, of course.
Hi.
And we got Andy and Stefan, and you're in CJB. Oh, man. Right? Trumpet. Okay, good.
I told you.
Yeah. All right. So if we're not playing this music a bunch or not listening to jazz, it's kind of, we don't know how to interpret these articulations or styles and phrasings and stuff. And so we can, I don't know what you think about scales. Everybody like playing their scales? Yeah, I mean, they're a lot of fun. And but I use my scales. I practice scales every day, and I use them to work on my time, my intonation, my legato playing, my technique, my range. And so I put a lot of different things into my scales that will apply to what I'm doing performance-wise. And most of the time, the only time I really needed to know scales before I started playing jazz was for juries or upper divisionals. And it was in such a way that never applied to how I would actually use them in real life. And then once I got out of school and started playing for the last 20 years professionally, I realized, wow, did me a huge disservice for a long time. So, look at your scale sheet if you don't mind, and I like to play my scales legato, with a nice legato tongue, and whatever you want to use on your secondary instruments. And you'll notice I have it going up to the ninth scale degree, and then back down. And this is so that as I'm playing, I always have a chord tone on the downbeat. And this way, when I'm practicing my scales, I'm getting into my brain the idea that I want to have a chord tone on a downbeat. So that, when I'm playing an improvised solo, it's going to hopefully sound good. I'm not going to put a whole bunch of consonants, a lot of fourths or, sixths or seconds or whatever on downbeats, which are cool, but we really want to outline the chords. And of course, we get the chords by taking every other note of the scale and stacking it, right? We all know that. That's easy stuff. I don't mean to insult you at all. I mean, I haven't even heard you play. So. And then at the end of the scale, there's a whole note. And see, Eddie, I told you, if you didn't pay attention this afternoon, you're going to get it again. So, and in that whole note, I like to visualize the next scale that's coming up. So I can play in the present, and I'm thinking about the next key area, the next chord, the next scale that I have to play. Because when we're playing jazz, it's not reacting to what we hear is one thing, but pretty soon we're going to be too late. And we need to train our brains to think in the future. Play in the now and think in the future so that when that new chord change happens, we're already there. We're thinking about it. Okay? So, here, I'll just start at the C concert, sixth position. And, oh man, this is still cool. I thought maybe I'd yap long enough to get this warmed up. All right. So I'll play it nice and legato, and then hold the long note, think about the next scale. So let's all do this. We can do this together, right? So alto saxophones, you're going to be playing A major, sharps, and tenor sax and clarinet. Yeah, baby. That's nice. I love it. You're starting on D, trumpets D, C, low C, C. All right. And just really, it doesn't have to be fast. It just has to be smooth and connected as we can make it, okay? 1 and 2 and 3. That's all well and good. So nice and legato, and so that everything that we're doing in our practicing with our using a metronome and using a tuner and thinking ahead, that'll all start applying to how we're going to play when we are presented with these chord changes. All right? And of course, when we want to make a mixolydian or a dominant chord, we just lower the 7th scale degree. It's super simple, right? We don't even really have to think about, okay, the mixolydian is, or a dominant chord is based on the mixolydian scale. well, that's the 5th scale degree of the root. And no, you just lower the 7th scale degree in your brain, right? If you want to make a minor in jazz, we use Dorian, not natural minor, Dorian. So we lower the 3rd and the 7th scale degree. So we'll have, for minor. And then it's just a nice hip sound, right? Not that flat 6 sound. We don't want that. That's bad. Okay? And you can also vary this. We want to start in different places around the key cycle and maybe play the scale. Maybe outline the chord so that we can, these are different ways that, just gets us practicing, gets us playing more. Always with metronome, should have turned it on, and with tuner. And, now when we are presented with these, we get, not only are we getting the technique down, we're also getting the sound in our ear so that when we want to play that sound, we're not thinking, oh, that's a minor chord. In jazz, we use Dorian. That means it's the 3rd and 7th is flatted up the major scale. By that point, it's 3 measures later, and it doesn't matter. We hear that sound, that Dorian sound, and you just play it or wiggle fingers in the right way, right? However you saxophone players do things. I don't know how that works. All right, so yeah, I guess that's about it. And with the artists, I didn't put every jazz artist on there, but I tried to put some older people, and well, by older I mean dead, and modern people, meaning alive, and as much diversity across the spectrum as I could put in there of people that I actually like. So that is a big thing, right? And I didn't have, there's some euphonium people, but their names just keep slipping my mind.
No double reads, come on.
Oh yeah, oh man, you know what, you're right. I should have put Michael, I'll think of his name tonight. This is a bassoon, jazz bassoon player.
Nice.
Oh man. Oh, Hanson. His last name is Hanson. I think it's Michael Hanson. Is that right? Wow. He's amazing. He is absolutely stunning. He's not much to look at, but God, he sounds good. Okay? That's what I mean. He sounds stunning. Wow. It's Hanson. Mike Hanson? Michael Hanson?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Leo? No. I don't know. So, wow. He's really, really good. And he has a pedal board and does loops and everything on the bassoon. Wow. Just great. Okay. Yeah. That's a super, super quick overview. And we said we could start a little bit early and need more time for working together and maybe questions later. Yeah? You sound marvelous already. It's amazing.
You want to
Just
do 2
amazing.
minutes of warm up so that everyone's still on equal time? Wait. Does anybody want to lead? Does anyone want to lead a warm up?
Joe, can you give us a B flat? What? Give us a B flat and an A.
B flat and A. Oh yeah.
Let's do it at just B flat and trombones. Let's do that first. Okay? Yeah. Pull out a little bit. Yeah, pull out. It's a little sharp in general across the board. Okay, let's hear it again. Oh, yeah. Are you putting enough anger through it? Look at that. See, that's how you play trombone, man. It's like 80% anger, 20% rage. How about B flat for the trumpets? Trumpets? C concert. another one. How about all the brass now? All the brass now.
Oh, yeah.
It's much closer. Good. That's good.
There's only two of us.
A.
I was just gonna give vibes, I don't have to get anything else.
Okay, good. 70%
Yeah, I'll be right.
green. That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So who do we have first? AJ. Oh, hi, AJ. Are you drinking? I don't see your name there.
The thing was, I was supposed to, but then I had
High five, AJ.
but then the director messed up the dates. So then I was like, oh, Katie, hey, I can't do it. The game.
I'm just gonna add that in the. I'm just gonna play drums. I love playing drums.
Let's go, AJ. You got this.
AJ.
Hi, Jason. Jason's on Zoom if you want to say hi. No, guys, it's
They're both
slide. Slide is going to get
but sure.
That wasn't a slide.
Yeah, I thought Jonah was gonna be here.
So yeah.
Are you on 10 at 1?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where Jonah is.
Okay, let's.
Bye, George.
Who's playing? What part are you guys playing?
You have like the alto one part.
Alto 1 part. Okay.
I didn't play an alto 2 part.
All right. And you have tenor 1. You have tenor 2. Tenor 1. Oh, no Barry. Okay. All right. Good. So who's playing first trombone? First trombone. First trumpet. Okay. Good. Got it all lined up. All right.
Bye, George. Do you all have it up? Okay. Slightly under tempo for the reading. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody solo if they want.
All right. Okay, first of all, you sold the band short. You're like, everybody's gonna be able to sing your instruments. No, it's not even. Dude, that sounded really good. It was good. Okay, nice job. All right, so first of all, when you started counting off, there was a bunch of commotion going on still, which isn't your fault, right? But we all, who's responsible for the time in band?
Everyone.
Everybody is, right? And Jasmine. So when AJ, your steam leader, is counting off the tune, and people are talking and checking stuff out and like just enamored by this cool new slide, now we're not all partaking in the time. So, right? So we all need to be focused in number one. So that was great. And so I think in I have a cognated instrumental conducting for my master's degree. Okay, people? So I know what I'm talking about when it's conducting, okay? Same with Ray Kramer and Stephen Pratt from Indiana University. They're not dead yet, amazingly. Most of my other teachers are. So I don't think we don't need to do like a 4 pattern all the time, right? So we can just snap on 2 and 4, and then sometimes we can give a nice big downbeat or ictus or whatever for the syncopated rhythms. Does anybody know people that are in the jazz world? Don't say anything, but does anybody know what the form is of this tune? Yeah.
Well, there's the part that sounds like I got rhythm, so
Oh.
it's a rhythm change.
There's rhythm changes, and what's the form for rhythm changes?
I don't know. I
Okay.
just recognize the tune at 81.
Okay, good. Well, it's the backgrounds, right? Da 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 da. Right, they're passing that melody back. So in jazz, the form is super, super important. So I Got Rhythm Changes by George Gershwin. A lot of people wrote contrafacts on different melodies on top of those chord changes, and it's 32 bars. AABA. You've probably heard that before, right? So we can always figure out where we are in the form by listening to, was it B flat, right? No, what's the key? Yeah. Okay, so play a B flat chord for me. What's your name, piano player, man? Joe, could you play B flat 7 for me?
Alright.
Okay, that's good enough. Now, how about D major? There's the bridge. So when we hear that third, right, as the root, that's the bridge. And it just cycles through D major, D7, G7, C7, F7, back to 1, back to B flat. That's the bridge, right? So we can always figure out where we are. And so when we're soloing the form is king, okay? So is there an open section in this? When you said, everybody solo, that's like, yeah. That's not something, I mean, I used to teach at a private school in Indianapolis, and it was like pre-K through high school, and you never told them that.
Yeah.
Never. Anybody can solo, and it's pure chaos. Okay. So 41, then you add 32 to that is, oh, I'm getting a little dizzy now. That's 73, yeah. Woo. Okay. So this is, so you can say, like, when we're looking at this, like, does it even say what director written off alto solo is by Charlie Parker? Yeah, there you go. Charlie Parker, dead. All right. So you can say we're going to repeat from 41 to measure 72. That's a repeated section, right? A, A, B, A. Is that correct? Did I do that math right?
Yeah.
A, A, B, A. Yes. And that way you can say backgrounds first time, background second time, whatever. And the backgrounds would be the second time of the whole repeated form, the whole 32 bar form. No matter what happens, that form has got to stay intact. And so if we're watching that, that would be great. The thing that you're going to see a lot are these stabs on the and a 4 and a 2 in the brass. And so I would always ask the drummer, we play that maybe 65, 6, 7, 8, measure 68, trombones, trumpets, and bass, not bass, piano, and brass. Piano and brass. No drums. Okay? All right. Yeah, measure 68. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in on the end of 4, okay? So here, when I start counting, is measure 68. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good. So as a drummer, do you think they did that pretty good? I know, I mean, this isn't your first instrument, right? The drum?
I mean, I'm a percussionist, but
Percussion, okay,
I'm
good.
not a kit player.
Right, that's cool. So there's only so much duplicated energy or information that the band needs, you know? So like, all these things are set up in the drum, so it's like, just play time. Can you just play time through that? Measure 68. Actually, let's go to 65. Let's start at 65. So if you see a lot of those little notes, and you can tell your drummers this too, like all the little cues in the drum part, usually it's just so they know what's happening, and not that they have to hit it too, because, I mean, there's already 8 people, 10, 11, 9 people playing it, right? Who knows? All right, 65, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. There we go. Yeah. So that's going to help a young drummer. Like, they're not going to have to be worried about everything and just keep in time. That'd sound even better that time, right? Even more together. And Marcus wasn't even playing because he pays attention. I did not specifically say for him to play. All right. So then, yeah, you can say, okay, so second chorus, we'll do, in fact, and then there's a trumpet solo. Oh, yeah, Jeff, nice trumpet solo. Let's do, so 73 is another, we can open that up too, and that's what we mean, opening it up. Let's try these backgrounds here. I don't want to take, just somebody stop me, if you want something, yes, it's just certain questions.
Okay.
Let me know what you want to hit. Let's start everybody at 81. And let's just get these background figures together. Where we heard the melody, I got rhythm, right? That's clever. Clever. There's also no trombone solo, so you know this track's gonna sell. Okay. 81. This is the second A of the form, all right?
Hey now.
What was that? Jason's on the screen.
Jason.
That's funny.
81. Oh, you want to count now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. 81. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's good. Very clear, very clear. How about 89? What if I just said this? Anytime you have two measures with half notes, right? Let's shape that. Da, 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 and the next one, or however you want it. Da, 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 right? Let's do that. One bar up, one bar down. So now they know that. So we don't, there's even less. We can,
Movement and stuff?
yeah. Let's try that at 89. Sans trumpet solo. All right, that was nice. And I get to hear you almost every day anyway. So anybody has it trades off. It starts with saxes, then it goes to trombones and trumpets. So like that. So 89. Remember that we're going to shape every phrase. Okay, 2 bars at a time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I thought it said.
That's about time, so wrap up.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, very good. And how about just the ending? Should we do that? So, jazz is so different than concert band or whatever, but, so all you have to do.
Okay. You'd be welcome to take
I mean, that's cool. That's fine. But we just try to formal. I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little rigid. So we take. How about I'll do it and then you do it. Measure 137. Okay, 137. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and. Yeah, and then usually the drums will go right on the downbeat. Yeah. You want to try it?
So, same thing, but bone 4 for the downbeat, just a fat B flat. It's like blah. Well, the cutoff, so like blah blah. Back to 137. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh my god.
Hi, pull up the squirrel from Pasadena. Rank 2.5, so more or less the same type.
Ooh.
There's a word for the girl from Pasadena. So, last time, let's see why I appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Also, please be patient with me because I don't have any binding on my score and it's all like one side. Just we'll see how this goes.
You're gonna do great.
No.
Okay, so Lucy said it's based on the girl from Ipanema. Non-jazz players, what is this? Do you know what tune that is? Or who wrote it, or where it's from, or anything like that? Brazil! Yeah, La Bossa Nova, right? Antonio Carlos Jobim. Eu não falo português, mas eu preciso de ajuda. Alright? That just means I don't speak Portuguese, but I need your help. So everything's, it's straight, is it straight eight? Right, it should be.
Yeah, boss.
Bossa, okay. And more smooth and connected unless you see a rooftop or a staccato accent. Alright, sorry. Take it away. Take it away.
I'm like variegating pieces here, hoping that I'm see how far that gets us. Alright. Is that gonna be fast? I'm gonna conduct this in 2, by the way, because 4 gets a little. Alright, 1, 2, on.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. It's a bossa nova, it's straight 8, so it's 1, 2, 1,
Okay.
2, 3. So yeah, that was a perfect, if it was a swing chart, we'd be
I didn't even
swinging.
notice that I swung it.
We'd be swinging, yeah.
1, ready, and.
So bossa nova is a very, let me start from the top if you don't mind. Is a very light. It's light, and it should be always be moving ahead. All right. Dun, 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 dun. Bass has to be just driving forward, right? Piano you can be comping, of course, but much lighter. All right. And so, do you have a brush? One brush?
Yep.
All right. Just one. One brush, one stick. All right. So brush on the hi-hat and stick on the cross stick.
Sure.
All right. And really light, super, super light. So if we can free everything up a little bit, and it can get, doesn't have to be so heavy. Right. It's a very people's music. It's from Brazil, right? So I think everything, let's see. You said you wanted to connect it in 2. Was that too slow?
Yeah, I thought it just felt like 4.
Okay.
I think I was thinking it wasn't how it was, but it was.
Right. So you can certainly connect it like in a you can show just like it's a dance. This is like a dance.
Right.
It's comfortable. It should be very, very swingy and light and everything like that. So how about up counting off? We'll see if they react any different. All right. Now we have of course we have different texture over here. Bass is gonna drive, right? The energy is coming from you, right? All right, light piano comping. All right,
Already started?
right from the top. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, I want to hear that again. All right, sorry. So
Okay, yeah.
on your foot, as they say.
I just noticed we have the Into the Woods rhythm section over here.
Yeah!
Shoot,
Oh,
too
guys,
funny.
it's so cute.
Come see Legally Blonde. April 1st to 3rd. Okay. 1, 2.
Did you take this one?
I did it. No.
All right. Let's get through the solo section here. Trombones in general, anytime we have like bop, bop, it'd be much lighter. I mean, that's just like, it's because it's a bossa type. I mean, I'm not criticizing your playing. It's fine. Like, okay, but like in general, like the style and the feel that we want in the bossa nova type of thing. So all that's going to be nice and light, pecky, and all that good stuff. Oh yeah. Thank you. Oh yeah, here we go. Ooh. Looks like we have something going on. 93. Let's take it at 93. I want you to see if you can, how about just give dynamics and not try to, I bet if you didn't conduct before or do whatever, or if I even did it, they would be fine. Right? We're intelligent human beings.
I trust you.
Right? So if you just softer, right? And then louder, bring it up and bring it down. That you can have a lot more control
Okay.
over that, yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
wherever that was, the shout chorus. Or not the shout chorus, but after the solo section.
93. Sorry, I'm going to take away that squirrel from you.
Oh, you want to go too much before that?
Sure. Bar 91. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ready, and. Bring it back.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
I was like looking for it.
so that's something that we do. I do a lot of recording sessions in Indianapolis, and well, we'll do like if you've ever seen any Hal Leonard like demos, videos, or recordings or whatever, it's all recorded there. And so like we'll do 15 charts in 2-3 hour sessions in one day, and get the chart, you get there, and you get set up, and then as soon as they start getting everything ready to go, then you pull all the music out of the folder. You don't look at it ahead of time. Oh no. And then first chart, you have your red pencil, and that's what you use in the studio, and you mark coda, sign, coda, or two coda, whatever. Like you mark all that stuff immediately, so that your eyes have something to go to. So now we know, right? So the next chart that you pull up, you have to look at the roadmap, what we call jazz, the roadmap. You know, where we go to a certain point, oh, DS all coda. Where's the DS? Measure 9 or whatever. What is it? 17, 9, 6, 8, 23. And then now you know where it is. And then there's two coda. Then you get your eyes together so that you can figure out how to visually map out the chart. So let's take it. Why don't we just go to the coda?
The coda coda?
Oh, that's not very long, is it? No.
You could do like one
Yeah.
on one.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's find the 23.
It's here.
Look at that. All right. All right.
All right, 101. Taking the DS. Okay. Here we go. 101. 1, 2.
Jazz is so much more about the energy and the vocalization and how we count things up. So, you know, yeah, yours is very polite.
Well, I wanted to start very polite.
Yeah, good. That's good. So you can still be soft and intense, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right.
2.
No. It's for straight 8 notes. It's 1, 2. It's like if you snap on 2 and 4, it feels more like a swing feel. So
Gotta be all 4. Okay.
yeah.
1, 2.
Cool. Nice. So something like this with the depending on how experienced the band would be, I would count down to get to the coda, like 2 bars, 1 bar, and this means coda, right?
Oh, God, I thought I was just me.
No. So 2 bars, 1 bar, and then bam, you know, so that you can get a nice, good visual and all that good stuff. And then at the end, it's da, do, da, ba, ba. Yeah, it's like there's not much for us to do as jazz band directors. You can't really cut off a short note. Da, 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 da. Thank you. Look at this band. You know, that's all about the show, baby. You know.
Lucy, you have like 2 minutes if you want to rehearse.
Oh yeah. Do you have any specific questions?
Sure,
or-
yeah. I'd just like to see you kind of show the band some of the hits.
Ooh, hits, baby. Yeah. All right. Okay. My first hit that
Maybe
Yeah.
like 23.
Yeah, 23.
I can do
Okay.
it for you.
Ooh. I can draw pages just as well as the next person.
Go for
Okay.
it. I'll pick them up.
Nice. All right. Here we go. 23. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, squirrel. Good. Like anytime we have this, they're playing on one a whole bunch, and then
Yeah.
I hit on 2. I would give like a big 2.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I would give a big Q on 2.
Okay.
You know, maybe we take it 39. Remember, err on the side of legato, even connected notes. Okay, I'm hearing more separation happening when it's not indicated. All right. 39. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Somebody's gonna step in that hole every single time, right? So, okay. Yeah, remember that tune. That's great.
Want this up here?
Yeah, there's
Oh, it's right there. As far as planning for the stuff, I'm thinking maybe like 10 minutes. Take it for a run through and first a little bit, and then 5 minutes, maybe get some tips from you.
Okay.
And then the last minutes feedback from Ben. Does that work?
Yeah.
Be prepared in the first 60 seconds.
So if I play
Here I am. Mike, go ahead and get started until people are set.
Okay. Yeah, so, hi guys. My name is Mike, for those of you who I haven't had a chance to meet. So, I don't believe there's any, like, open solo sections. Feel free, if there is an open solo section, just go for it. But I don't believe I'm just gonna start from the top. Y'all ready?
Sorry. Hello. You play alto too? Damn.
Good? One, two.
Okay, Mike, you don't have everybody's attention yet. Even if the band isn't playing in the beginning, they all need to be part of the time, right? Okay.
I'll give you 3 in your end. 1, 2, 3. Awesome job with the trumpet solo. When the soloist is playing, really make sure that you're listening back and that we're listening for that trumpet voice. And feel free to play out a little bit. I know you're just reading the music for the first time, but yeah, feel free. So just make sure we're listening back. Can we start? Let's start at 33. Pickups to 33. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Awesome job listening back that time. That was a great improvement. Can we start back at pickups to 67? Okay, and then on that, after the fermata, the cutoff, I'll give you 2, play, play. Sound good? Okay. 67 pickups. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah, awesome job. Round of applause for our trumpet solo. It's very nice. One thing I want to go back and check out as we get to that big hit section at 43. Raise your hand if you think you have a melody. 43? Yeah. It's that da 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 da. So if you're playing those quarter notes that are, kind of constant the whole time, you guys are the voice that really needs to come out. Saxophones in front row. You guys are playing an awesome counter melody to that, and that's definitely important. So listen in. Who's playing? You're playing. You're doing great. You're doing great. Really make sure we're listening into AJ, because he's going to kind of set the tone for that. He's also going to set the volume and the style, and he's really going to be the one listening back. You guys listen in. No pressure. You got it. You sounded great. So can we try it right there at 43? Bones and rhythm section, you guys are doing great too. Let's do a full measure before 42. So measure 42. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, really awesome job. Is trombone your primary?
No.
You're killing it on that bass part. That was awesome. That was great. Very good. Yeah, cool. So let's talk. I know I mentioned to the saxophones in the front row to listen in towards the lead player. And kind of, I know we have a mix of jazz backgrounds, not jazz backgrounds, but as we're playing to kind of get that balance in, we want to each section listen into the lead player, and then each lead player listens back, and that's going to kind of be how we set that balance. Because that sounded really nice, saxophones on that counter melody. How are we doing on time?
You have 7 minutes.
7 minutes, crazy. Okay. One thing, and then I'll let Rich step in. If you have, everybody go ahead and look at measure 67. Just kidding. Yeah, let's go 67. If you have a rhythm, and this is going to be especially lower voices within that section where it's a quarter note with a staccato and then a half note following, so dun, dun. Can I hear you play at 67? So I think that's going to be tenor 2 in trombones. Tenor 2 trombones and bass. 1, 2, right at 67. 1, 2, 3. Oh, sorry. Can I get hi-hat as well? Thank you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so that rhythm, we all know what I'm talking about. Really hit that staccato hard and leave some space. Dun, 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 dun. Can we do everyone at 67? And we'll go to the end and then Rich. All right, everyone, pick up to 67. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Cool. Yeah, awesome.
All right, Mike, you're very comfortable up here, man.
Thank
You're not
guys.
vibing for my JB3 gig, are you?
No.
Okay. All right, so there's a couple of things. I don't think, I know I tend to snap a lot, right? But this is more like an orchestral type of thing. So I think you can shape things more. You can actually get into your conducting chops a little bit, like I said not to for everybody else. But on a tune like this, I think you can. Because, if you're doing this, that gives a different signal than what this gives, right? 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 And then everybody, you can shape everything that way. And at the very end, when there's that fermata, it was excellent. I gave that beat 2. Cut off was great. 1, 2. Your pickup was slower, and they played with you, and then you were like, Taskmaster. So I think if you just make sure you have that tempo in your mind, even though it slows down, you get B2 cut off, right? And then that way, they're gonna go with you in that. Okay, so a few things. Never look at the trombones, it only encourages them, right? Then you compliment them, even though they're mostly not Eddie's the only like native trombone person back there. You see the fire that it brought now? What's your name? Megan? It sounded really good. I was going to say something, then I thought I shouldn't, because then I'm just going to start playing louder. But in the beginning, we have this like little bell tone thing. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. That sounded very good. So I think on trombones, whenever you see something like this, you want to put a little front on each attack. So this sort of sounds more trombone-like. And Eddie, where's that trombone melody? Which I noticed that Mike didn't say nice trombone melody. I noticed that.
It's a solo and pick up
59. Oh, I'm right there. Look at that. Okay. I think you could put a little bit of slide vibrato on that. Okay? And so trombones, it's just that it's not the whole arm, it's just a little bit of the wrist. And generally, you just hop up and down. That's how you get it. And generally, not so much in the lower voice, unless we're like within an octave or so. But then you will set the tone for the rest of the section. Anytime you have something that everybody else has a longer note, you can put a little vibrato on there as well. Yeah. Can you just take this? Let's take a pickup into 59, and I want you to conduct, and I just want you to shape it. I don't want you to be too, no snappies, okay? And then just, you have to rub your ensemble, right?
Yeah.
I don't even like people, Mike, you know this, right? But I exude love and happiness to JB3, right? Because I never people, and I'm sure these people are too. And so you just have to invite them to play, If you're really good, and yeah. All right, pick up the 59 on your foot, man.
1 minute left. Okay. 1, 2, 3,
Time. Nice. And especially if there's something holding and there's another chord coming in, you want to do that higher. Because, this is nice rate, or, it's not always going to be like that. All right, awesome, dude. And I think in the beginning you could be more strict conducting wise, especially because it was that conduction. They would be more visual cues. You would be very nice. You gotta let it. Oh.
And that requires one thing to happen
I
Arturo Sandoval is, and if perchance, do you know what instrument he plays? He's a trumpet player. So, yeah. So in this chart, you're definitely gonna notice like a little bit of a brass favoritism. So keep that in mind as you go through it, and understand there is a little bit of a hierarchy, and to just try to tune in on like what role you're playing within the overall structure. Tuned up? Okay. I'll give you 2 for nothing, and then we're right in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3,
All right, Marcus, is that the tempo that you wanted?
Yeah, it's the written tempo, so I didn't want to.
What's the written? What does it say?
Well, it's not written, but unlike recordings, the Hal Leonard recordings, it's that slow. I know the actual recordings much more.
Yeah, I think.
Tempo Delerno.
Right.
We're kind of playing around with it.
So I think you could. Yeah, I would definitely take it faster now that they have it. So all right. So overall, good job. Now, funky cha-cha, Latin funk. Not funny, huh? Man, that just feels so slow.
What exactly is a cha-cha?
Oh, it is a dance. Cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, dance is primarily listen to bass and drums. They're the ones that are really driving the dance feeling behind it. So if you're looking to channel that energy, look no further. Which you should be, as your director.
All right. I mean, I would take it. I mean, just that was a good reading. Okay, so everything here, Arturo Sandoval is not subtle, right? He plays, whether he's playing trumpet, flugelhorn, or piano, he's playing loud and high and fast. Whether it's a Latin funk, a ballad, a standard, or anything else, he plays loud, high, and fast. Okay? So that means that there's a ton of energy here. You count it off like, oh man, I can't believe I gotta do this now. You know? So and he gave 2 bars, which is fine, but then I don't think they need 2 bars, right? So if I may I count this off? I know this is on your time here. Alright? So again, let's shape every line. Boo-doo-da, boo-doo-da-da-da-doo-da, ba-doo-da, right? Always go to the end of the phrase. Do-da-da-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da, and don't take a breath on the beat 1 of measure 3, saxophones and trumpets and trombones, which is everybody, all right? Do that, right? We don't want to be late there. So this is how I might count it off. All right, 1 bar. 1, 2, 3, Oh, the fall. Man, that's what it sounded like. All right, bow. Right, hang on to it for about that long and then fall off super high energy. Okay, trombones is easy to do, right? But we have to drop through the partials too. Trumpets, you wiggle the fingers and drop through the partials, right? That's a fall. Wait, Mike. Oh, okay, good. So we give a nice energy on the downbeat, right? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Just count it off, Marcus. Just, I want to hear you do the beginning, man. Set the mood and the character of the tune immediately.
1, 2, 3.
Gestures, I'm guessing that you want every and of 4 to be hit. Or and 2, right?
It's juicy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you can just say that to them, right? Because after a while, if we do the same thing over and over, they're just going to start ignoring us, right? The center of attention here. All right. So how about this? Letter 9. It's actually a number. I don't know if you know that, but it is a number. We have, that's right. So I need to hear more of the trombones. And we need to have everything accented, right? So you can just say, you know, trombones, ba, 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 ba. Make it 2-bar phrases. All right, so we'll breathe every 2 bars. Can we just hear the trombones? It's such a cool line here. And bass. Measure 9. Oh yeah, 10 or 2 berries. Just 10 or 2. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Let's just pretend a second time. letter 9. Measure 9. Second time. When you're playing. 1, 2, 3, and. Break. Yeah. Ba, ba, ba. Off on 4, right? We want to take things all, and so that's what you need to listen for all the internal stuff. Da 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 da. That's going to take care of itself the second time you hear it, right? They're generally smart people.
What?
Say who? See, every now and then you got to say that just to make sure that they're listening. Okay. All right. Can you? Yeah, set the mood with your camera. And you want to do anything with this solo section?
Oh yeah, with the solo section.
Yeah. I know you know that.
So let's do pick up to 18. So that's looks like it's trumpets mainly there. Okay. You're on 4.
You have like 4 minutes.
1, 2, 3.
soft enough and then big enough. So I think you can stop. Everybody's been very good about this. But whenever we stop and we want to fix something, we want to tell everybody why we stopped, what we're going to fix, and then we're going to go and fix it, right? So, because you gave a huge gesture right here at 58, and then I didn't hear any textual change. So that's when I would have stopped and said, hey, there's a crescendo here. And, you know, get on their case, man. Yeah. These people don't need to be your friends. All right? Or maybe they'll respect you because you're holding them to a higher standard, I guess.
All right, so last thing we're going to do, what's the time at?
You have like a minute.
Okay, so last thing we're going to do is we're going to take pickups to 50, and yeah, I really want these crescendos exaggerated.
Yeah.
So we got piano in the rhythm section. We're going all the way up to forte.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. Not I want it. I need it.
We are going to.
Yeah. I need this crescendo.
Okay, pick up to 50. 1, 2, 3.
Oh yeah. Good. Hey, at the very end though. Da 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 da. So you need to give them something to bounce off of, right? So if you're conducting the rhythm with them, if they're reacting to that, it's going to be late,
Yeah.
right? So ba da 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 ba da 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 ba da da. Right? Just give big gestures in the hole. You're not really doing anything, but it looks like you are. So you get the big bucks, baby. We just do the last 4 bars. Count off like you mean it, man.
Drag it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice. Good job, Marcus.
Oh, y'all, Jason left the Zoom meeting. He left a message. Love you all. Got to turn in for the night. Oh, fancy. Everything has clothes. This is easier. This is harder. Yeah. Oh, this might be a little tough. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Morgan, for those of you who don't know me. You don't know this piece, right?
Yeah.
Right?
No.
No? Yeah? Okay. I know there's an alto 1 solo, trumpet 2. Anybody else want to take it since we know this piece and it's so much fun? And everybody wants a solo? Sure. Yeah. You too? Okay. So we'll do alto and then Joe and then it's trumpet 2. Trumpet 2 will go last because you have like a closing thing. So. But yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Is it okay if I play the actual opening fill instead of what's written?
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Does it still come in on the end of 3?
Comes in on 3.
What?
Comes in on 3.
Okay. Good to know. Okay. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2.
So you said how many? You say how many times they were going to repeat?
I thought it was gonna go AJ and then Joe, but
Okay, but
Joe's fine.
that's fine. But how many times? How many bars are they going to solo?
It's,
Until they're done, and they're going to cue you.
it's everyone gets an 8-bar solo.
Eight
Yeah.
bars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we want.
Alright.
Yeah. What?
Does anybody know what key this tune is in originally?
E flat. G flat.
E.
Flat.
And then a lot of bands play it in E flat. Like every band I ever played with plays it in E flat. Okay, sorry. let's go on here. Now, I don't think you really need to count this up. You just go 1, 2, right? That's a good, funky. Who played drums on this record? Do you know?
What?
Do you know who played drums on this record?
No.
Stevie Wonder.
Sure.
He played drums, bass, keyboard, sang. He did it all. Okay,
Stevie
so
Wonder.
I would have them play
Please come, Mr. Wonderful.
really loud, rhythm section bang out, and then when the melody comes in, everything drops down, right? Because we want to be able to hear that. There's still the same energy right now. So you just go over to them and say, quiet, right? Because the saxes are going to come in this way. And and then say for example your first clarinet player comes in 8 bars early, and he's playing a line. It's like, man, that's usually happening later on in the tune. And it's like, oh, it's not supposed to be here. You say, wait. I love your enthusiasm, but let's just wait.
Me too.
Okay, and so I think you can be much more strict with these people. Okay.
Yeah.
Making sure they hold everything full value, and and they get these 16 notes. Make sure that every line is going, especially this type of music. You know, it's really cool. There's not much to conduct for us.
Yeah.
Exactly. But okay, so now we know everybody has 8 bar solos, but also at 23 we have these. So when you see this, you're gonna say, "Whoa!" Bring it up, 4K piano. You know, you can shape, do so much, be much more dynamic up here. Okay.
Okay.
Want to start it over?
Sure.
Just give a nice and powerful 1 and a 2. Not 1 and 2. Not say it like that. 1, 2.
Okay.
Not 1 and a 2. That would not work.
It was still a 4-bar intro, right?
What?
Well, what you did, I think like all of us were just kind of like confused. Okay.
I'm
We go 1,
1,
2, dum, 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 dum.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
2 beats. You do 1, 2. She'll play 3, 4. And we're off.
Okay.
It's a position there. You could really
1,
smack it.
2.
Thank Okay, good. Nice. All right, so yeah, the last solo, let's do that.
Okay.
Okay? That way they know to go to the second ending and you say second ending, you know, which they can't see you say second ending because we're wearing masks and everything like that. And then you look at the trumpet players and you say, is that high note written in? Is that part of the part? Yeah. Just play what's on the part. Yeah, you kind of could demonstrate.
It was implied.
Okay, so you can also, I mean, there's not much information in the rhythm section in terms of like dynamics, like at all. Oh, there's a crescendo. Great, it's gonna be louder. Okay, so you can tell them, hey, at each new solo, let's bring the volume down. Okay, and it's what, A flat 7 or whatever. So I think you can play little different solos. Oh, for a second. You can do some, or blah, blah, blah. Or just even like. But better, okay? And that way, you don't have to play it over and over again. Oh yeah, I hear you. Okay, so that now that they have that instruction, let's take it. So I take it from the last chorus of the solo, and also you say, if I ever hear anybody quote Chameleon again, that's $5. That's a fine, $5 fine. Okay. So you say, and just tell them what you want. Tell them what you want them to do. On the page they didn't do that time.
Oh,
The
yeah.
articulation-wise, just go ahead, berate them.
Okay. So it was mostly trumpets weren't following the dynamics written. Trumpets. So follow them. There's dynamics, there's forte pianos, there's big crescendos. You know, let's do them. It sounds better. I think besides that, the saxes, when there's a decrescendo, do it. Because you guys like saying loud. Yeah. I think that's all I was thinking.
Okay, good, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's take it from the last solos, and yeah, and make sure if they're not doing it, stop them. Stop the band and tell them again, because some of them weren't listening; they were talking when you were giving them information. So,
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
So count it on.
41, trumpet 2, whoever's the last. So, yeah. Okay.
Just give them a real solid 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
a little bit, you know, maybe to go up with that, or we could start with so like that. So, and did they do that?
Did you not?
I think it always be dynamically should be always more.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
None of
That's
the
good.
things.
Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you want to run?
First thing is like,
It's just kind of weird, like not
yeah,
conducting every single
that's
Oh, yeah.
movie. Yeah, you know what
Well,
I
you
mean?
can,
I found that it makes
you just
it
live and, you know, say, sit down, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Play what you call it. You can tag along, you can really get involved. And I would, for a tune like this, I would have it in my head, with 200 bars around it, so,
This is from my.
If you could please put your music in your folders, hand your folders to me or Ryan, and then we're gonna do some question and answer until 9 o'clock. So think of something to ask, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna do that now. So let's start with the first question. Anyone have Mike has a question.
Mike. Next. Joe, is it?
yes.
All right.
So, okay, this might be a little bit of an involved question.
All right, this might be a question that somebody else wants to hear answered, so let's make it quiet.
Hopefully this isn't too involved, but like, so today, I know a lot of us have like a little bit of jazz background or maybe none at all, I don't know. So, but like as somebody who's primarily a classical player, I felt pretty comfortable here, but I know that we didn't really dig deep into like all like the jazz nuances. And like I know that a lot of people like are unfamiliar with like chord symbols or improvising. So how would you introduce that to somebody who has not, like as a teacher, how would you introduce that to students?
Okay, good question. I think I would take this. First of all, listening is a great way to get people involved. And for like using the scales, major scales, anytime you see a triangle, triangle 7, triangle 9, whatever. Triangle's a jazz nomenclature for major because it's easier to read than an M. We don't know if it's capital M, small m, although you see that a lot. And then Mixolydian scales go with dominant chords. So anything with a 7 or a 9 or 13 or whatever, and we use our Mixolydian scale. If we could show the students how chords and the scales are related, and then you can give them, okay, what are the common tones here? What are the different tones? You sound familiar, Eddie? Yeah. Sorry, try not to repeat myself. And you can just give them enough of information so that they stick to these 6 or 8 notes or whatever and change at the right time. Then they're going to be able to play a fairly coherent solo. And also playing our scales with a metronome always, so that we can not get lost. Because if we get lost in like an improvisational thing, if it's a blues, a 12-bar blues or something like that, we have a much higher chance of playing wrong notes if we're not where we are. So what out with a blues or whatever is a beginning band. I'll have rhythm section play time or a metronome and just hold the roots. Ba, ba, ba. And then I'll have somebody solo while everybody else is playing the roots. And this form, this 12-bar cyclical form, starts to seep in without them really realizing it. It's sneaky, right? And now all of a sudden, somebody's going to be playing and then hit a G on the second bar. If it's a B-flat blues, and it's the third of the chord of the E-flat 7. Out of nowhere. And it's not a mistake, you know? If we're doing a modal tune that's a D minor thing, then I'll just make sure it's D Dorian all the time. I won't ever say like, oh, this is D minor, so don't play B flat, because guess what? The first note people are going to play B flat, right? So we'll just run Dorian scale. I might comp on the piano for them, and just give them. So I mean, there's a lot of information here, right? But just a little bit of information can go a long way to make to build the confidence up, and to know that there's really no wrong notes. There's wrong. You can get away from a wrong note the wrong way, but if you resolve the wrong note, then it turns into a right note, right? It turns into the correct note.
You're only ever a half step away from a right note.
That's right. Let's not make it a goal to see how many ways we can get out of this. But yeah, it's I just think if we just get a chord with the scale, like this is a B flat Mixolydian scale. We take every other note of this scale, stack it, that's a B flat 7. That's why we play this scale over this chord. And now you can just plunk out that chord on the piano and have them play that scale up and down. Every note's going to sound good. Some notes are going to start sounding better to them, right? The chord tone. So that's how I've gotten students started improvising. Yeah, Andy.
To go off of that, how would you tell a beginning jazz student to start genuinely practicing, like meaningful practice?
Oh man,
What's the first step?
I think well, you can't make it's tough, man. You can't make people practice if they don't want to, But I think the Tonal Energy app is really great because you can set a goal every day. I have a goal of like 30. It fluctuates depending on the gig situation or whatever, between 30 and 60 minutes a day. And since, oh my God, what's the date? Huh? Oh yeah, so February 8th, 2020, I started with this thing, Streaks with my students at Butler University, and I haven't missed a day for over 2 years now of playing. Even through the pandemic, that's what kept me sane, and my kids away from it. So, but yeah, I think setting like little goals. I want you to do 5 days in a row. Can you get 5? I'm gonna look at the counter or whatever and see 5 smiley faces in a row. I don't know, something that will engage them, or give them a segment of a solo that you really like and say, I want you to find one lick. You pluck it out on the piano or pluck it out on your instrument so that you can play that lick back to me. Just little goals like that. And then something will catch, at some point. Yeah, I don't know how to get people to practice. That's been if I could figure that out, I'd be rich.
You are.
You are.
Oh, damn. Lucy?
Yeah. So one of my biggest struggles as a performer, which becomes like a shortcoming as a teacher too, fluidity in soloing. Because I have the chord knowledge, the scale knowledge. I don't necessarily know which scale goes where, but just soloing fluidly over chord changes is really a struggle.
Yeah. It comes with just doing it over and over again. There's a great app called iReal Pro, and if you have that, just set a tune, pick a tune that you want to learn, and you can vamp. You can just do loops, 4 measures, 8 measures, or whatever. And you can also, every time it goes through the form, it can get faster. And so if I'm learning a tune, and if it's a particularly challenging one, I will start it real slow and just play the melody until it gets so fast that I can't play it anymore. And same thing with if there's a certain chord, 4 bars of chords that I'm having issues with, super slow, just repeated until I get that sound, the sound that I'm looking for, so that I can't make a mistake eventually. But it takes time. It's a slow, boring process, and it can drive people nuts. If people are listening to you. So.
Do you have any good resources of day one of soloing to your first day?
Oh man, there's tons of books out there. I think just getting started playing at any book that's gonna show you what scales go to what chord, or chord to scales, or however you want to say it, that's gonna help out a lot. And getting together with people and playing is like super, super helpful. I mean, I've been playing for years, and when I first got my first trio gig, it was just me, piano, and bass at a restaurant. We did it once a week for 2 years, and that was like the best. I mean, I had a book of, I had to use music every week until, I don't know, about 4 or 5 months in. It's like I didn't have to use any music anymore because we were used to playing with each other, and these tunes, just because I just repeated them, they were much better players than I was, and that helped out a lot. So, yeah, Mike, another one.
So I know that, like, for maybe some of us who are a little bit more comfortable with jazz, what are some things that you would recommend to maybe like continue to get better for teaching? I know one of the things Chip was talking about was like he put a big emphasis on learning how to play piano. Do you have anything like that, like listening or?
Well, I think yeah, playing piano helps because you can plunk out chords, and then they can play, and you're forced to really listen to them quite a bit. And also engaging in, like, I'll do active listening sessions with students, and like, for example, on Sunday at 4 o'clock in the student lounge in Smith Hall, Andrew Danforth and I are doing a listening lounge where we'll be playing some music and just talking about it a little bit. And I present some older stuff, and he presents newer stuff. And, so just getting together, listening, can really help, and to engage the ear. Because it's one thing to, like, all right, here's what you're supposed to play, but then there's wrong notes all over the place. They don't hear that there's wrong notes, then they can't fix it, you know? So being able to listen and playing along, if you have, like, Watermelon Man, Simple Tune, or Cantaloupe Island, put that recording on, give them the chord changes and the scales or whatever, and say, play along with the record. Nobody's going to accompany you better than Herbie Hancock on his own tune, So that's I think it's a good way to get people involved in whatever. So just, here's the packet, get out of my office type of thing, That answer your question, Mike? Because you're just staring at me now.
Time for one more?
All right.
Yeah, if I could comment on Lucy's and Mike's question. So, Lucy, a good book to get is Jamie Aebersold's book. He's kind of like the de facto jazz education. He ran camps in Chicago, jazz camps, for decades and decades. They're still running today.
Well, they're in Louisville.
Oh, they're in Louisville?
They're in Louisville.
Oh, okay.
Louisville. They used to be in LA and Chicago for a few years, long before you were born, I'm sure. But he lives in Louisville. He's still playing. And he's a student of my teacher who, decades earlier. But yeah, Jamie Aebersold Play Along books are really great resource there. Does anybody have another question?
And then Mike, transcribing the jazz greats, like just writing down what they're playing. It's a lot more useful for someone like a bass player who can learn licks and patterns from them, but it's just as valuable on horns and melody instruments.
All right, Andy?
And to go off of Marcus too, actually try to transcribe it. Looking up a transcription on YouTube and just reading it isn't going to help you learn shit. Actually taking the time to go through it multiple times, go at it multiple note by note. That's actually going to get it in your fingers.
And it's an oral art form. Like, people used to get together and jam, and hey man, what was that tune you played? What was that lick you played, man? Let me hear that. And they would get together and teach each other in basement apartments in New York in the 40s. There's all these late night jam sessions at Mittens and after all the gigs and stuff. And so it's that's where they learn. They just learned off of each other. And another thing, if you have one student that's really into it, that's going to spark another student, and then you have a group of jazz nerds hanging around you all the time. And it's really cool because they help each other. And it's more of a lateral influence as opposed to vertical, which is much better. Yeah. You have a question for me?
No, I have
Okay,
another
then we'll
reason.
talk later. You can tell them stuff later.
Yeah.
All right. My time is very valuable, people.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a really good thing you have going on. Anytime you want me to come back, let me know.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Quick things for you all. Right here we have two QR codes. We have one that is feedback about anything that we do, and if you have something to tell us, it's anonymous, just leave that for us. And then we also have the concert reading band sign up, ready to go for next week. We're doing grade ones. Haven't confirmed a director or a mentor yet. We're getting there. We're almost there with that. But grade ones, they'll play anything we want next week, and both of those QR codes are here. Anyone else have anything?
Yeah. Tomorrow, we are having our social event, our first social event of the semester. We're going to meet at the music building at 4 o'clock, and then we're going to decide if we want to go somewhere to go get something to eat. But we're going to we have a list of scenarios suggested by David Hutter, where you go, who is my band director, where you go and we just kind of socialize and talk about these 3 scenarios while we're hanging out and having a good time. So come to that, it'll be great.
We're also going to devise errors for next week's reading band. So, because it's grade 1, so if you have error ideas, we'll write them down tomorrow.
Oh yeah, if you do want to take jazz out of just the reading band context, you can go to the Rose Bowl Tavern